The courtroom was a fortress of silence, broken only by the occasional shuffle of papers and the soft hum of the ceiling fans above. In the center of the room, Marcus Hale, a man in his early 30s, sat shackled at the defense table, his eyes hollow from months behind bars. Once a hard-working father and small business owner, Marcus now stood accused of a crime that could strip him of his freedom for decades, a crime he swore he did not commit. Across the aisle sat Officer Raymond Cross, the decorated police officer who claimed to have caught Marcus in the act. His polished uniform gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a stark contrast to the rumpled suit of the man he accused. Cross wore the smug expression of someone who had testified in dozens of trials, confident that his word would be enough to secure yet another conviction. But today would be different. Today, the truth would fight its way to the surface. Judge Evelyn Hard, a woman known for her sharp mind and zero tolerance for dishonesty, presided over the trial. She adjusted her glasses and glanced at both attorneys before nodding. "Mr. Callahan, you may proceed with your opening statement," she said to the prosecutor. District Attorney Frank Callahan stood, buttoning his suit jacket with deliberate precision. His tone was calm, but carried the weight of authority. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is a simple case. The evidence will show that Marcus Hale was caught red-handed with stolen property. Officer Cross, a decorated and highly respected member of law enforcement, witnessed the crime firsthand. There will be no question of guilt when you hear the facts." He returned to his seat, satisfied with his concise presentation. But the defense attorney, Rachel Lawson, had other plans. She rose slowly, letting the silence stretch just enough to draw the jury's attention. "This case," she began, "is anything but simple. What you are about to see is not just about stolen property. It's about power, about trust, and about what happens when those who are supposed to uphold the law decide to twist it for their own benefit." She turned and looked directly at Officer Cross, whose confident expression faltered ever so slightly. "And at the end of this trial, you will see that Marcus Hale is not only innocent, but that the lies told about him are far more shocking than the crime he supposedly committed." The judge raised an eyebrow at the tone of her statement, but allowed it to stand. The atmosphere in the courtroom had already shifted. The jury leaned forward, sensing this would not be a routine trial. Callahan called Officer Cross as the first witness. He stepped confidently to the stand, hand on the Bible, swearing to tell the truth. He described the night of the alleged crime in vivid detail, recounting how he saw Marcus leaving a warehouse with a bag of expensive electronics, and how Marcus supposedly tried to run when confronted. He was caught just outside. The stolen items were found in his possession. It was an open and shut case. The jurors nodded slightly, some casting suspicious glances at Marcus, but Rachel Lawson sat calmly, jotting down notes, waiting for her chance. Rachel approached the witness stand with measured steps. "Officer Cross, you've been on the force for 12 years, correct?" "Yes, ma'am." "And in those 12 years, how many arrests have you made?" "Over 500. "Impressive," Rachel said, her tone polite but pointed. "And would you say that honesty and accuracy are critical in your line of work?" "Absolutely." Rachel paced slowly, then turned back toward him. "Then, let's talk about your report from the night of the alleged crime. You wrote that you saw my client leaving the warehouse at approximately 10:32 p.m., correct?" "Yes." "And yet, Surveillance footage from a traffic camera places Mr. Hale's car 15 miles away at exactly 10:30 p.m. A murmur spread through the courtroom. Officer Cross's jaw tightened. "Perhaps your clock was off," Rachel said smoothly. "But let's continue." Rachel presented the jury with photographs of Marcus's car passing through a toll booth, time-stamped just minutes before the alleged crime. Then she showed phone records placing him on a call with his wife at the same time. "Officer Cross," she said, stepping closer, "if my client was nowhere near the warehouse, how do you explain your report claiming he was holding stolen goods at that very location?" Cross shifted in his seat. I must have made an error in the timing, but he was definitely there when I apprehended him." Rachel nodded slowly. "An error. Understandable. But this isn't the only inconsistency, is it?" She pulled out another piece of evidence, a GPS log from the police cruiser assigned to Cross that night. It showed the officer was not near the warehouse until nearly 20 minutes after the alleged arrest took place. The jurors exchanged stunned glances. Judge Hart leaned forward, watching Cross closely. His confident demeanor was beginning to unravel. Rachel ended her cross-examination with a subtle warning. "This is only the beginning," she told the jury. "You will soon see how deep these lies go and why Marcus Hale was targeted in the first place." Marcus sat at the defense table, gripping the edge of his seat. For the first time in months, hope flickered in his eyes. But neither he nor the jury was prepared for what was coming next, when hidden motives, suppressed evidence, and a shocking betrayal would explode into the open.
The courtroom was dead silent, as if the air itself had been snatched from the room. The judge, her piercing eyes fixed on Officer Daniels, had just declared, "Your testimony does not match the evidence presented before this court." Gasps echoed through the gallery. The accused, Michael Carter, sat frozen, unsure whether to believe what he had just heard. For months, he had been painted as a criminal, a man accused of resisting arrest and assaulting an officer. But now, the narrative was unraveling faster than anyone could predict. Officer Daniels, still standing in the witness box, cleared his throat, attempting to regain control. "Your Honor, I may have misspoken, but my account of the events remains true." The judge leaned forward. "You did not misspeak, officer. You swore under oath that Mr. Carter struck you before you attempted an arrest. Yet the body cam footage obtained via subpoena clearly shows you initiating physical contact first. Explain this contradiction." The prosecutor shifted uncomfortably, sensing the case slipping away. Daniels stammered, I thought he was reaching for a weapon." Michael's attorney, Miss Reynolds, stood immediately. "Your Honor, we have already established that no weapon was found on my client. This was a fabricated justification to cover excessive use of force." The jury members exchanged glances, their expressions hardening as doubt began to bloom. As cross-examination continued, Miss Reynolds unveiled more contradictions. Daniels claimed Michael had resisted arrest. Yet video evidence showed Michael raising his hands and asking, "What did I do?" before being slammed against a wall. Daniels alleged he filed his report immediately after the incident. But time-stamped logs revealed the report was filed 3 days later, after media coverage questioned the arrest. Daniels insisted he acted alone. Yet a fellow officer's statement revealed Daniels ordered body cam footage to be turned off mid-arrest, a direct violation of department policy. The tension in the courtroom grew unbearable. Finally, the judge spoke again. "Officer Daniels, Are you prepared to tell this court why your account differs so vastly from the evidence? A pause. Daniels opened his mouth, but no words came out. Instead, his gaze dropped to the floor, a silent admission that his story was collapsing. Ms. Reynolds seized the moment. Your Honor, this case has never been about justice. It has been about covering up misconduct. My client has lost his job, his reputation, and nearly his freedom because of an officer who chose deception over duty. Michael's mother, seated in the back row, wept quietly. Months of humiliation, threats, and sleepless nights, all because of a lie, were finally being confronted. The judge took a deep breath and turned to the jury. You have heard the testimonies. You have seen the evidence. But more importantly, you have witnessed the truth emerge despite attempts to bury it. I will now call for a short recess before final arguments. After the break, the courtroom reconvened. The prosecutor made a last desperate attempt to salvage the case, suggesting Michael's behavior during the incident had been provocative. But Ms. Reynolds countered with a powerful closing. Provocative. He was walking home from work, headphones on, no criminal record, no threat to anyone. And yet, Officer Daniels saw a man to be controlled, not a citizen to be protected. Today, we ask this court not just for justice for Michael Carter, but for accountability for those sworn to uphold the law. When she finished, the room fell silent again. The judge instructed the jury to deliberate. Hours later, they returned. The foreman rose. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. The courtroom erupted. Cheers, sobs, and sighs of relief. Michael embraced his mother as tears streamed down his face. Months of humiliation, threats, and sleepless nights, all because of a lie, were finally being confronted. The judge wasn't finished. Officer Daniels, you will be referred to the district attorney for perjury and obstruction of justice. This court will not tolerate lies under oath. Justice must be equal for all, citizen or officer. Daniels was escorted out of the courtroom, not as a witness, but as a man facing criminal charges. Outside, reporters swarmed Michael, but he spoke with dignity. I lost nearly everything because of one lie. But today, we saw that truth can win if we fight for it. No one should be above accountability, and no one should have to fear the system that's supposed to protect them. If you believe stories like Michael's need to be told, share this video, leave a comment, and help spread the message. Justice isn't real until it's for everyone.